Hi everyone, Mariposa here. It is a wonderful afternoon here in South Texas. It's like 77 degrees outside. My husband and I can't wait to go outside and start gardening, but it's a special day today. I'm remaking my carne guisada video. Per many requests from you guys to redo the video. As a lot of you may know, that was the very first video I ever put on Facebook. And I didn't put it. It was a video project my husband had to do while he was going to college. And we did it, and it just kind of took off. And here we are today. And happy to be here. I'm so glad. But I'm going to share what was maybe a 45-minute video or more before. We're going to condense it into a short, sweet little video so you can make my carne guisada. Again, this is the video that started the whole thing. And this is, of course, on the new Mariposa YouTube channel. I really thank all of you who have subscribed to my videos so far. I'm going to ask a big favor and ask you to subscribe to the Mariposa YouTube channel now. Spread the word, share it. It's... You know me, I love to cook. I cook with love and I love to share with you guys. So let's just go ahead and get started. Again, so I've got my pot on the stove and I'm going to turn this on. This is how I learned to make carne guisada. This is a recipe that my grandmother made, passed on to my mother, passed down to me. And that's my dog in the background going, I need to go outside because it's a beautiful day. So we're gonna hit pause real quick so we can throw them out. So I've got my pot on. So what I'm going to do right now is put a tablespoon's worth of manteca in the pot. I've had a lot of people ask, don't you sear the meat first? You can do however you want. If you feel like you might add more flavor, if you sear the meat, go for it. If you've got a way that might amp it up, go for it. This is how I do it. And I think what the most important thing about this recipe is that it's just kind of laying the groundwork for you. You certainly can do or add whatever you want. It's the basic ingredients and the basic method that I think can kick you off to a great recipe. Tablespoon of manteca in my pot, a little bit of a medium-high heat. I've got about 3.5 pounds of shoulder roast that's been cut up for stew meat, and I'm adding that in. Now, there are a lot of you who use different cuts of meat. My recipe is a recipe for shoulder roast. You need to cook this slow and slow, so I've already turned the heat down. Okay, so I've gone ahead and chopped up my bell pepper, which is one bell pepper. Try to find the prettiest bell pepper in the store. I'm going to go next with 2 beautiful red tomatoes. These are vine-ripened tomatoes. See how gorgeous they are? Try to find the prettiest tomatoes. They've got to be large tomatoes, but try to find them. And again, we're going with a rough chop. I take that top stem off. I've got this new toy. It's a garlic chopper, and I tried it out last night and I loved it. It's got some nice sharp little blades in there. And what you do is you put your garlic clove in, and then you just kind of do that. And lo and behold, you've got chopped garlic. Put 2 more. So I'm using today about 4 to 5 garlic cloves. The recipe that you're gonna see me post online will be for what I'm cooking today. It's about 3.5 pounds of shoulder roast. Now you can of course always chop it the way you want. You can use a molcajete. I'm just using this today because it's fun, and look at that. This is great for when you want to make fried garlic. In case you haven't seen my video on fried garlic, it is such a great and easy appetizer for guests. Look it up. So easy. Kind of come in here real quick. That's beautiful. So if you want to know, we're looking at about a little over a tablespoon of chopped garlic. I'm just adding everything on top of the meat, you guys. It's so easy to do this. My rule of thumb is to add a teaspoon of salt per pound of meat. Since I've got about 3.5 pounds of meat, a little bit more than that, I'm adding about 4 teaspoons of salt, okay? So I'm using kosher salt today. You can use regular salt, it doesn't matter. I just happen to have that right away. And I'm also adding a tablespoon of ground cumin. 3.5 pounds of meat, so it's gonna require some nice good flavors. Ground cumin. Again, this is something you can also get the fresh cumin seeds and use your molcajete. I'm not doing that today. You know, we've got ground cumin at the grocery store. Let's just go for it. It's a nice and easy recipe. Now I'm gonna give everything a quick toss. Oh my God, I wish you were here. I wish you could smell how wonderful it is. Everything smells so wonderful, so fresh. I'm the type of person that cries like crazy when you chop onions. So I saw this trick on the internet to put your onion in the freezer. And so I just did that. So now that I've got everything tossed, I'm gonna get my onion. Give me just a sec. So as far as I'm concerned, you can use yellow or white onion. I'm using white onion today because it's just actually what I had here at home. I don't think you need little bitty pieces, but certainly you want to try and give it as even a chop as possible. In the Mexican tradition, it says if you cry when you chop onion, you're a jealous person. I am not a jealous person, but I've also heard traditionally that if you cry when you're chopping onion, it's because you're really in tune with the flavors and spices that you cook with. I'm gonna go with that one. So far, no tears. So yay on that. This is wonderful. Wow, I can't believe I don't have any tears. I made some ground beef for tacos last night and I was crying like a baby. Okay, so I'm just gonna add all of this. Typically you wanna add 1 medium onion. You can use yellow, you can use white. I'm using white onion again today. The goal is for this to bake down anyway. Now I am not going to add any water. No water, folks. This is something that you want to cook low and slow. The juices from your veggies, from your meat will emerge on them by themselves. I'm on this cooking website and I got a blue ribbon for this recipe and they made a correction on my recipe. They said, oh yes, you'll need to stir it and go ahead and add some water because it needs it. It doesn't need it. If you follow the recipe, you do not need to add water. You need to cook low and slow and you've got to trust it. Okay, low and slow for 3 hours, folks. This is what it looks like right now. I wish you could smell it. It smells wonderful. I'm just gonna give it another quick toss. And again, you know, while it's cooking and add more spices to your liking, this is where we're going. This is where we're starting with. I will see you in about 2.5 hours with a little flour roux so we can begin to make it a nice gravy carne guisada. I'm going to cover it with my lid and I'm going to torture my neighborhood for the next 3 hours. I've got my windows open again. It's a beautiful day here in South Texas and this is cooking low and slow. It's carne guisada here in Mariposa's Kitchen. I'll see you soon. Hey everyone, so we're back to the carne guisada. It has been cooking for exactly 2.5 hours and it looks wonderful. The vegetables have broken down beautifully. Again, if you're cooking this and it looks like your vegetables aren't quite breaking down, make sure you're stirring occasionally and make sure that maybe you've set it a little too low to turn it up just a little bit. You'll know about halfway through. Your vegetables should be breaking down. What I prepared here is the roux, which is some flour and water mixture. I probably put a little bit too much water, but that's okay, it doesn't matter. Now I'm gonna put this in so it can cook with gravy for about another 30 minutes. Now I've had some folks tell me that it comes out a little watery when they've added what I suggest in my recipe. I cannot guesstimate how much liquid you're going to produce, you know, based on your veggies and cooking times and cooking temperatures. But if by any chance you add this mixture and it's still a little watery, just add a little bit more flour and it'll be a wonderful gravy. So I'm going to add this flour right now. Here we go. And you'll see my vegetables have broken down beautifully. I'm adding that in. I'm gonna give it a stir. Look at this. Lovely. I'll know in about 15 minutes if I need to add a little bit more flour, but it looks great right now. So we've got about 30 more minutes before this baby is done. I can't wait to show it to you. You'll see my veggies have broken down beautifully. You might see a little bit of bell peppers, but that's okay. And if you want, help them along. Put them along the side of your pan, give them a little squeeze, and just keep going. But this is really nice. I've already tasted it. It tastes wonderful. All right. 30 more minutes, folks. 3 hours is the time. I've actually got my rice cooking right next door, so we'll see how that comes out. It's gonna be 2 separate videos. I'm so excited. See you in about 30. Hey everyone. So it's been 3 hours since I put my carne guisada on, and I want you guys to come take a look. So I've got a nice beautiful gravy. For those of you who are asking how much flour and water did I used about half a cup of water, and I used 3 heaping tablespoons of flour. I probably used too much water, but that's okay. You know, it's gonna go right in. Gravy is nice on whatever you want to use it for, but let me show you. Come take a look. So as you can see, the veggies have dissolved, and there might be 1 or 2 bell peppers here and there, but for the most part, it has dissolved into flavor, nothing but flavor. And I've had some of you ask, you know, I had too many veggies. Again, you've got to guesstimate it. You've got to stir this occasionally while it's cooking. And sometimes you can coax the vegetables against the wall if you want to. I don't really ever do that, but you can do that, and that's perfectly fine. At this time, if you'd like to do it, I'm going to do this as soon as we end this video. So I'm gonna go clip some fresh cilantro from my garden. I'm gonna add it on top just to give it that beautiful fresh cilantro flavor. If you don't have cilantro in your garden, plant some, grow some, because when you add fresh cilantro to your carne guisada when it's ready, to your Mexican rice. By the way, if you by any chance watch both of these videos together, add some cilantro to your Mexican rice as well. It's a great little add at the end. But add it, it's wonderful. That's my carne guisada recipe, you guys. If you have any questions, please hit me up. This was the video that kicked it all off for me. It's a recipe from my grandmother. It comes straight from the heart. It's a little bit of an emotional thing for me because it makes me think of my mom and my grandmother and how they loved to cook. And they love to cook for their family and their children. And I love to do the same. And I love to do it for you guys. Thank y'all so much for watching. Once again, love to cook and cook with love.